Today marks the release of not only an amazing show, but the attempt to rebrand one of the most iconic video game characters in history. Come with me on a deep dive exploring the strange and odd history of Sonic's renaissance. This is 10 years of Sonic Boom. Before I get into this retrospective, consider liking and subscribing. It really helps the channel out and do better. Thanks! On February of 2014, Sega announced something that shocked the entire Sonic fanbase. They announced the revitalization for the franchise for Western audiences. Branded the Sonic Renaissance, the year of Sonic was announced to the public with a mysterious new look for the characters that were yet to be revealed. Later on, the fans were shown what the characters looked like, to their shock and surprise. The characters were oddly proportioned, with lots of sports tape all over them, Sonic and Knuckles being the big shocker. Personally, I like the Sonic Boom designs, but to each their own, I guess. However, the fans were cautiously optimistic, as more things were announced to come, like comics, a show, a toy line, and of course, games, said to be a prequel to the show. The games especially being the thing to kick off the Sonic hype. The games are being created by Big Red Button, a company made of ex-Naughty Dog employees who would be working on the big console game, as well as Sanzaru Games, who worked on the portable games. But we'll get to that in a moment. The comics are being published by Archie, who were the main people behind the Sonic comics, and the toy line developed by Tomy, who created Sonic toys from 2014 all the way up to 2019, when Jakks Pacific took over the toy line, and who are the current toy makers for Sonic. Eventually, the games were announced as Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric, being created by Big Red Button, being developed for the new CryEngine 3 for the Wii U, and Sonic Boom Shattered Crystal being developed by Sanzaru Games for the 3DS were shown off to the public, as fan reception was decent, but pretty skeptical. However, the skepticism would be met with mixed reception, as Sonic Boom would be released to the public. On November 8th, 2014, Sonic Boom would release everything at once. Rise of Lyric, the show, and the toy line were released, as the comics, as well as Shattered Crystal, made its way a little later. The fans could finally see what Sega had in store for the year of Sonic. This show was very well received, with its witty writing, hilarious voice acting, and colorful cast of characters surprising the fans. However, the games weren't so lucky. Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric as well as Sonic Boom Shattered Crystal came out only a few days apart, equally with the horrible reception from the fans. Rise of Lyric was very rushed, with its horrible lag, bad writing, many bugs and glitches, and just overall boring gameplay. Shattered Crystal, only coming out a few days later, met similar response. The comic series, being very well received however, only ran for 11 issues before being cancelled. With the horrible backlash, fans were very upset, as this was supposed to be a reboot for the franchise. Many Sega reps however contradicted the statement, by saying that it was never supposed to be a reboot, and that, according to former Sega producer Omar Woodley, Sonic Boom is meant to branch away from the classic/legacy Sonic. Our plan is to go forward with the modern Sonic and the legacy Sonic. However, Sonic Boom producer Stephen Frost directly contradicts this, stating that Sonic Boom was not just a new direction, but the new direction for Sonic. With Sega scrambling for answers to their massive problem, they were forced to completely downsize their western side, and didn't reveal anything for 2015. With even John Rook from Sega Europe saying that Sega felt like it needed to engage in damage control. With the Sonic fans in shambles, and 2015 being a massive drop for Sonic, with the only game coming out, Sonic Boom Fire and Ice, being delayed to 2016, things are only looking down. When interviewed about the new direction for Sonic, head of Sonic Team Takashi Iizuka stated that Sonic would be making its big comeback in 2016. With Sonic Boom Fire and Ice, also developed by Sanzaru Games, coming on 2016 to decent reviews, and the show getting, and eventually ending, on its second season in 2017, Sonic was finally seeming to be on the up and up. In 2017, Christian Whitehead, developer of the Sonic 2 and Sonic CD mobile ports, as well as headcanon the developers of said games, T. Lopes, someone who worked on the Sonic fan music, as well as many other things, and Hyper Potions, who also worked on fan music, teamed up with Sega to make the phenomenal game Sonic Mania that was seen with very high praise, even getting a DLC encore, bringing back forgotten characters Mighty the Armadillo and Ray the Flying Squirrel. With Sonic seeming to go back to his roots, Sega also revealed that Sonic Team, developers of the mainline Sonic games, were also working on a project, with the placeholder title Project Sonic 2017, later to be called Sonic Forces, releasing November of that year. However, Sonic Forces was met with poor response as well, as it seemed that Sega was rushing to put something out to please the fans. With Sonic Boom making a huge dent in Sonic's reputation, as well as Sonic Forces also enforcing that dent, no pun intended, it seemed that Sega was fumbling big time with Sonic, and that they needed to learn from their mistakes. Sonic would start to make a comeback in the 2020s, with the Sonic movies being released to big success in 2020 and 2022, with a third one coming out in December of this year. The Sonic franchise would also see many new things like the Sonic Symphony, the IDW comics, the King Ice merch, the LEGO collab, and even a recent announcement of the Sonic X DC collab that's going to span even further than 2024. The games would also see a brand new resurgence with Sonic Frontiers in 2022 and the new game Sonic X Shadow Generations this October 25th, with the Year of Shadow sparking new hope into the fans. For me, Sonic Boom had a pretty big impact. I remember that my friend who also liked Sonic gave it to me for my birthday and I played it so much, even putting all the glitches and crashes into consideration. I actually remember Cobonner Money 456 play it and me watching it religiously. Yeah, I still watch the show every now and then, and I even have some of the toys for when I first got them a long time ago. Even recently, a few years ago, I found Fire and Ice, but the launch edition of the game, with the DVD still in it at my local video game store. Easy Cop, definitely. It'll always live in my heart as a really good moment in my life. Sonic Boom was a very interesting moment for Sonic, with many ups and downs, and many different experiences for everyone. It will always remain a very confusing but fond time, a distant memory that reminds us of where Sonic has been and where he's going. Thank you all so very much for watching this retrospective. All my sources and links to the videos used are going to be linked in the description. Also, make sure to like and subscribe, and follow me on Twitch, as I'm pushing to do more content for you guys. But with all being said, thank you so much for watching, and peace out, guys.